Okay, this video is about this Bolany coil spring, which is from AliExpress and has 230mm length, eye to eye, and 550-pound spring. Actually, some forum reviews on Mountainbike reviews.
Just wanted to show you this pretty long thread about this Evosid and Bolany coil shock, and they seem to be pretty similar. Quite some photos and a lot of detail. And this is the main valve. All in all, the guy who wrote this found the shock pretty satisfying, and to me it looked pretty trustworthy, so at least I want to give it a try. And yeah, also ordered one, and here's the Shim stack assembly. And he also did some driving videos. The guy down here also disassembled his and also found it pretty okay.
Quite impressive for the money. Comes with rebound adjustment and a compression adjustment with some nice big indexed. Also comes with air preloadable damping system. So actually I find this really nice for the money. It costs I think €72 and it came 10 days maybe. The manufacturing is pretty flawless, and I want to put this into my 2022 Nukeproof Mega. Yeah, actually just for fun, and maybe to have spring as a replacement when the other one is in service. So what you see here for the Mega is that the 230mm of the claimed shock length is not really correct. So it has actually 235mm eye to eye, but this is not too severe for the Mega. Just checked if there could be longer shock in the frame, and actually up to I think 240mm would give the Mega some extra travel, because the 230mm has 62.5mm of travel, which gives us 160mm of travel for this frame, which is also claimed here at the back. And if you do the math, it's 100 and maybe 80mm of travel if you would put a shock with 72.5mm of travel into the frame. And yeah, this video is mainly about how to fit this. What you see here is an assembly where Nukeproof mounted a bearing to the lower end of the shock, because when the rear triangle moves in, this one pivots here and turns the lower side of the shock. So if there would be a lot of friction, there would be a problem. This one does not come with a bearing assembly. So what I planned is to mount bearings inside the lower end of the shock. Just ordered these 148 RS. This is the original mounting hardware which came with the shock. This is 24. The bore here is 8. And the width of these cups is 5. So this is 14. And this is obviously 12, and this ring here, which you can also buy as a dry bearing, Teflon coated bearing, has a wall thickness of 1. So these bearings here are 14 at the outside and 8 at the inner part, and I hope that this fits, because yeah, I have to press these out and put some bearings inside, and the plan is to stack these bearings and put them all along close to each other, and then yeah, maybe put some washers on the side to have a good pivot point at the lower end of the shock. So yeah, I have to try to find something to press this out. And yeah. So finally this thing gave up a little bit. Just hit the very edge of the inner ring with a hammer and a tap like this to make it move, because there is a slot on the one side, and I think it has to be aligned to move. So now when I hit it with this again, it moves further, but it stops because there's wood underneath. So maybe I just try to put this thing on again and try to make it move now. Don't know if this works. Yeah, it actually does. So now it's coming out nice and smooth. I don't know if that's the right approach of doing this, but first time doing this, and yeah. So this one is now a little bit destroyed, and this too. My bad, yeah. But I don't really care for this one, and let's see if this works. Yeah, actually, what a nice fit. Wow, okay, so these bearings are perfectly for this. That's actually quite nice. So I think I can also maybe put 4 instead of 3. I don't know, maybe 3, maybe 4. I have to see. And this makes it turn easily on the lower point. Nice. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I did not really know the measurements before. I just guessed because I found this is 1 mil in wall thickness and I say 12 on the inside, so yeah, supposedly 12, 14 on the outside, and just bought these bearings and hoped for the best, and yeah, actually came out quite nice. So yes, compression damping, and if this is completely on plus, it's stiff, completely stiff. It does not really move, and if you turn that all the way open, it moves easily. Still there is the resistance of the air container, so you see that this is actually working, and if you really put the rebound all the way to plus, it can be compressed, but it rather moves out. Not really. Like, the damping adjustment actually is really working, so that's quite interesting actually. And to give you some more measurements, this is, as I said, roughly 235, and we have, I think, close to maybe 75 millimeters before the limiter reduces the travel. So the complete utter limit of travel would be maybe 65 something. Yeah, but it's rated as a 62.5 mil. And the coil which is mounted on there is 14.5 mil long, has a diameter of 55, if you can see that, and an inner diameter of 38, which is supposedly the same as the RockShox coils have, and I think you can buy these for about 30 euros or something. And yeah, this is quite nice. So these coils come in pretty nice small steps, because I think this 550 pound coil is way too strong, way too heavy for my kind of riding. I just saw that everything I filmed was in Hyperlapse. Okay, once again, I tried to remanufacture more or less this assembly. So this is 30 in width, a little bit less, and this is the lower shock end, which has now been, I hope so, improved with some bearings. The stack width here is 16, this is 30, so I'm still missing 7 on each side, and from the original mounting equipment which came with the Bolany, there's this bushings which are put here into the PTFE gas coated bushing, but it's not really running smooth. So yeah, I want to have the bearings here and use these as a push part for the inner part of the bearing. So I just cut these to a width of 7 and made a little groove like here with the caliper, and it's really soft aluminum, so, and the caliper is hardened steel. That's not a problem for the measurement tool, but yeah, you can still see the line. And what I basically did, and I firstly did it wrong because I'm stupid and cut 8 not 7 mil, and now I have to redo it. And cutting down from 8 to 7 is really not too nice, because it's just a mil and just a little bit thicker than the saw blade is, so carefully trying to get a grip here, not cutting too much. Yeah, and then just eyeballing all the way down, make the tiniest, thinnest slice here without falling out of the part. I mean, I will fall out eventually. Happened the last time. So now this time it's working. Okay. Just at the very end. Finish that real quick. Okay. Yeah. And this should hopefully still be more than 7 all the way around. Yeah, it is. It's actually not always. Okay, get this tight. And then, yeah, now it's like really messed up by just sawing it. Even though it's not too important that we have a perfectly flat surface, because the inner rings of the bearings are supporting each other anyway, so yeah, but at least I want to have as good as I can here with the hand tools. I mean, it's just 0.2 or something what I want to get rid of. It's really not much. So it's still all the way around. And maybe here is the highest part right now. I'll put this up. Don't want to be too hard with the Y's here, otherwise it will make an O instead of a circle on this really soft aluminum bushing. Yeah, by repeating this like 10-20 times, you will have a more or less suiting part at the end. It's really just a matter of patience, actually, not of skill. Might be too much. No, it's still not enough. Nowhere enough. Here it's getting enough. Here it's, and this one's the highest point. Yeah. So I need to file this down. And you really have to be carefully looking where you see the shine starts to be different here, so I'm filing at only the upper side, and then you see, so you don't need to be really looking from the side. It's enough to look from up, down.
At this point the washers were alright, and I really don't want to bore you with this whole process. So it was just fiddling around with the measurements and then try to make this screw fit here, and yes, because of the filing the inner diameter was a bit messed up, so I had to open it with a 8mm drill, and yes, after that I just searched for some additional spacer in between these two spaces, because there was still 1mm missing between these two parts, and I don't want to clamp the end of the shock with the screw of the bike, so I just searched for a little washer that could be used as a spacer. And the inner diameter of the washer was not yet quite fitting, so I opened it with a drill. That was a bit messy, fell down quite some times, but at the end it was working just fine, and had my 1mm spacer in between these other shock mount spacers or equipment which came with the shock. And
so the shock is in. I think it looks amazing, really. I love the looks of it, but I'm not so much satisfied with fitting. See that? Yeah, it's just too much play, because the shock moves all the way to the side. It will be no longer sitting on the bearings on the lower side. So yeah, just gonna put it out once more, and I brought myself some shims.
So this is the incremental process of fitting the shims to the spacers of the shock, and by doing that you can adjust the lateral space between the spacers and the shock itself and make it fit. These shims come in different sizes. I have here 0.1 and 0.5 millimeters with an inner diameter of 12, and this was quite nice to make the shock fit to the frame.
So this is, I would say, just a test setup, and if I like that, maybe I will rework these bushings here, make some proper parts on a lathe. I think this side is okay. Shims cannot go anywhere, but the lower side is really not too nice. And if you worry about the bending of this screw, because you have some free length here, it's really not that much of an issue, because it's a 8mm bolt with only 7mm of free length, and even though it would be 30mm of free length, it's still sufficient if you do the math on it. So there's beam calculators online and you can check that. And yeah, so next would be the test ride. I think this will be tomorrow. Yeah, but you see it's quite sensitive. Okay, nice. And one thing I forgot is, so I measured the sag of the shock just by sitting on it, and the static sag is around 15mm between the end of the shock here and the beginning of the rubber stop. And this is close to 23% of static sag in comparison to the maybe 65 mil of travel that the shock allows to make. So that's a little bit too less, and calculating the sag that it's actually doing by the sag that you need. So you divide that and multiply by the 550 pound of shock strength, you'll get like 430 something. So I just ordered a 450 pound shock from RockShox, and I'll see what the sag is then.